Good evening, everybody. So the weather is really nice. It's Brooklyn, New York. It's a nice breeze outside. I'm waiting for my sushi. My girl's at Pilates. So why not make a video and try to build up my subscriber base? What's happening with the market, the stock market and the crypto market? And are we in a recovery? Kind of. Or let me rephrase, we're not in a recovery. We're not so much in a decline, right? The spiral might just be stopping. And when I say stopping, I don't mean stopped, I mean stopping. S&P 500 up over 4% in the last week. NASDAQ up over 5% in the last week. NASDAQ is now only down 6% for this month. When I say only, these are huge numbers. NASDAQ is the tech sector. S&P 500 is heavy in the tech sector, with the top 500 companies, including Tesla, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Nvidia, Apple, so on and so forth. I heard Jerome Powell speak today about inflation and when they're going to stop, and essentially he just basically said we're going to do whatever we have to do, and we're going to be as aggressive as we need to be, and we will not hesitate at all. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's going to get a lot worse, it's going to get a lot worse. I think that we might get worse. Maybe another 10% drop, but nothing like unbelievably crazy. My personal opinion. And investing is all about making opinions, educated guesses, and hypotheses. And you're either right or you're wrong. I think it's a great accumulation period right now. It's a great time to buy into the companies that you always wanted to get into, right? So a lot of people are like, oh, I wanted to get into Tesla, or I wanted to get into Amazon, or I wanted to get into Google or Apple, so on and so forth. But they never bought in because they're like, oh, it's just too expensive. Well, now is your chance. The problem is, in stocks, in crypto, and everything, people are like, oh, I want to buy something, and then when the price drops, they don't get fear of missing out. They get a thought, right? So at the peak of something, people are like, oh, as long as it drops, I'm going to buy as soon as it drops. Then when things drop, you're like, oh, it's going to drop more. And then when it drops more, you're like, it's going to drop more. But then it starts going up, and you're like, oh, it might just be a dead cat bounce, and then it's going to go back down. But it might not ever go back down, and it just starts going up. I honestly think that 8.5% was the high inflation. Now we had 8.3 reading. We wanted 8.1, but we got 8.3, which means that we might have our inflection point. Honestly, I'm banking on that. If our next CPI report comes out and we're going to get like around 8%, which I think we are going to get, the one after that will be sub 8, I think we're going to start getting this thing under control. On paper. The reality and on paper is two different things. Let's talk about the paper right now. We know Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve are going to be raising the basis points by 50 and 50 in the next 2 meetings, probably in 3 meetings. If the CPI report data comes out for the next 3 reports as lower and lower, I think they're going to change it instead of 50 basis points to 25 basis points. That's just my own personal opinion. If they're going to raise it by 25 basis points instead of 50 basis points, I see the entire stock market go up. I also think that we're not going to have a bull run, but we might trade sideways, right? Barcode. And I think a usual bear market lasts approximately 1 year, like a little bit over, a little bit under, 11 months to 13 months, something like this. So let's just call it a year. The thing is, we're approximately in the 6th month of a bear market. The bear market started at the end of December, early January. So let's say January, February, March, April, May. So we're almost at our 5th month, 5th or 6th month, right? So 6 months. But we had our worst decline in NASDAQ ever, first quarter, and we had the second worst decline of the S&P ever, which means that we had a very, very aggressive decline of the stock market. And because we had a very aggressive decline in the stock market, I'm assuming or thinking or hoping for the best that we're actually going to have a shorter bear market. Now, the bear markets last a year, but the recovery of a bear market can last several years. What do I mean? It's not just as soon as the peak stops, it's also how much longer it takes to climb back up. Today I did buy some more positions. I bought more shares of Lilium. I bought more shares of Regio, which are stacks of Palantir. Yesterday I bought shares of Tesla. The day before that I bought shares of Palantir, and so on and so forth. I would really like to buy some more Nvidia, although I have a nice position in Nvidia. I think that these are going to be some of the cheapest prices we're ever going to see when it comes to NVIDIA. I think that NVIDIA chips are going to be very much needed. And I think that there's going to be a whole culture of going back to work and spending to renovate offices, to upgrade offices, including with technology. That's my thesis and hypothesis. I said it before in an NVIDIA video. I might be right, I might be wrong. Cryptocurrency. I'm still really hoping, and it sucks what I'm saying, but I'm hoping that Bitcoin does hit that 25,000 mark. I no longer think that it's going to go under 25,000. I don't think it's going to spiral out of control because Terra Luna, ran out of Bitcoin to sell, right? They only have like 300 or something Bitcoins left. And the reason why Bitcoin spiraled out of control is because they were selling, I think, $2 billion worth of Bitcoin in the open market. And that's what started happening, and then a lot of margin calls started happening. I'm not saying that we're in a recovery. I'm not saying that. I'm also strictly saying that we are in a bear market. What I am saying is that there are value stocks, and even in a bear market, stocks can also go up. What do I mean? It's all about supply and demand. If the demand is stronger than the supply, the price will rise. If the demand is subpar supply, the prices will decline. What's been happening is people were not willing to buy, so the prices dropped. Problem is, there's always a point, right? Will people buy here? No. Will people buy here? No. But will people buy here? Possibly. So when you get to that point of people are buying, it changes the whole market. And FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, now becomes FOMO, fear of missing out. It's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen. I honestly think that we're going to have a bear market, but in 2023, we'll have another bull market or the inflection point. So I think we are over halfway of a bear market. And I don't think that this second half is going to be as aggressive as the first half, if that makes sense. So we could still drop. That's why I'm cautiously optimistic. And if Bitcoin is going to go to 25, I have buy orders. I am buying more algo. I also bought $500 worth of algo today. Don't laugh at me. I'm not a baller. I don't have that much money left. But I am picking and choosing my battles. I also have some cash reserves. And that's my play right now. I think that, and this might not be the popular opinion, but I do think that we're in the second half of the bear market, which means it might not be a full recovery, but it's not going to be as an aggressive decline. Maybe, like I said, another 10%. And I don't think it's going to go much lower than that if it gets that low, because there's just crazy deals right now. Crazy deals. Forget about Palantir, right? Because Palantir, you can argue that it's still a growth stock. It didn't really accomplish anything. It doesn't have it. And I'm not going to argue that because it is a growth stock and you're banking on what it can do in the future. But look at companies like a Microsoft, an Amazon, a Tesla, a Google. Even take Tesla out of there. Let's go Amazon, Google, Apple, right? And Microsoft. NVIDIA. These companies are crazy values. And I'm not saying Tesla is worse than those companies. I'm not. I'm just saying, like, those are established companies making so much money. Such great values. I was looking at Square the other day, and it's 52-week low. AMD's, and these companies, they're so cheap. Amazon, 52-week low. And forget about the small caps. The small caps, they're like non-existent. I bought Wejo today. Wejo at $2. Wejo was $20 less than a year ago. $20. Can it get to a 10x from here? Maybe. Is it worth the investment for me? Yeah. I did a video about Wejo earlier today. They're growing. So I'm just saying that there's such crazy deals right now. Such crazy values. And I believe that until the deals in the stock market are gone, the crypto market is not going to take off as much as it should. Once the deals run out in the stock market, people will go back to the crypto market. One of the reasons people bought crypto was because the stock market was overweight, was overvalued. So people went to crypto. But now crypto dropped and the stock market dropped, so people are going back to stocks. It's so funny how this thing works. It's so funny how everything works. The point of the video is this, guys. Take advantage of these dips. Really, sit down and just look at yourself the way you were a year ago. I promise you a year ago, you were like, I wish the price of X was Y. And if the price of X goes to the price that I'm willing to pay, which is Y, I'll buy. but then X becomes the price of Y and you guys don't buy. People are scared to pull the trigger. Now, I'm not telling you to invest. None of this is advice. Everything is purely entertainment and educational purposes only. What I'm telling you is to think, breathe, sit down, read a book, analyze, YouTube University, right? And learn about investing. And investing is a mindset, and you got to get better every single day. There's a thing when you make YouTube videos, they say that you need to become 1% better every single day. And at the end of the year, you will be 4 times better than when you started. And that's true. Same thing with investing. Learn. Let's say you bought AMC and you were diamond handing, and then you got liquidated, you got shellacked. Well, learn that it's okay to YOLO play some stocks, but eventually you need to invest in sound companies. You can't just YOLO play. Same thing happened with GMC and things like that. If you got shellacked with tokens, let's say, and you thought tokens were the next big thing, you found the next Dogecoin, but it never happened. Well, maybe you should reestablish your parameters for investing in crypto. Maybe you should think about a new strategy. I'm not saying don't invest in these risky plays. I'm saying that you should realize that there are risky plays, and it's not all we're going to the moon. Really start analyzing your plays. This is a way for you, if you survived until this point, this is truly a way for you to get back in the mix and reinvent yourself as an investor. And I'm not just saying this, I'm not just giving you some crazy words and probably going to get like 20 views in this video, but seriously, sit down on a piece of paper and say, I did this wrong, I did that wrong, I did this wrong, this was a mistake. And then say, I want to be this type of investor, I want to do this, these are my goals. Honestly analyze yourself from head to toe, and then 2023 can be your year. And if not that, then 2024. Take advantage of the wash rule. Take advantage of tax loss harvesting. Offset your paper losses for realized gains, realized losses, right? Learn from your mistakes. Just think about this as a very, very expensive lesson that we're all taking. Guys, thank you so much. Sorry for the impromptu video, but I thought this was very important, and I'm enjoying the night breeze. Have a great day.